Welcome to Horse Talk Live. Enjoy the next hour learning more about the people, places, and products of the horse industry. And now, Horse Talk Live on Rural TV.
Howdy, horse lovers. Thanks for coming to join us for another episode of Horse Talk Live on Rural TV. As always, I'm your host, Lizzie Iwerson, and today our guests have traveled to us from Round Top, Texas. They are Kelly and Dan Keene of Dan Keene Horsemanship. The two of you, thanks for coming to be with us today.
Thank you, Lizzie, for having us.
We've had some time to get to know each other, learn what it is that you're up to when it comes to helping horses and helping people. And it sounds like you've got a good thing going. A lot of people and a lot of horses have been helped by Dan Keene Horsemanship. So let's start with you, Dan, and tell us a little bit about how you got started in the horse world, how you became a cowboy.
I guess my grandparents and parents have always had a ranch, and I grew up on that, and they've always had some horses that they never did really use to work cows on, but I was the only one that was enthusiastic about them, so I used them. And kind of was self-taught, and always had the passion for it, and always had the desire and the want to, and never really had anybody to teach me. So as years went on and I grew up on those kind of what I'd call clunker horses, I got into high school and got to hanging out with some people who were way better than me, and got help from them, and bought my first rope horse when I was 16 years old, and he taught me more than anything, probably. And after I learned how to rope some, I got better at it and got some help from some other people that had way more knowledge, and got to riding better horses, and rode race horses for a few years, and really learned how to, have a seat and learn more about horsemanship there, and became a blacksmith and did that for 24 years, so that was a whole different realm there. But I always did pursue the team roping. I was kind of like a weekend warrior and had my job during the week, but I studied it really hard. The shoeing is what kind of fed the roping, because I certainly wasn't going to make any money doing that, or roping. There was a couple of times I thought I could, and I thought, no, reality set in, and I was going to be as broke as the others. But
and you met me, and I was like, we got to pay our bills.
Yeah, we got to pay the mortgage, man. I'm tired of the lights getting cut off. So being in the blacksmithing world, I worked for mostly English people. Hunters and jumpers and dressage people, and got to spend time with those people, and they had a lot of knowledge that I gained that I incorporated into my Western world, into my rope horses. And after taking lessons from those kind of people and moving that over into our discipline, it was amazing how much better my rope horses got. When I got to a certain level in roping where I thought I would really like to pursue this as a career, I spent some time with some world champions. And they helped me out a bunch, but being able to incorporate some dressage and some jumping and stuff that got me out of the box, and I think that's where a lot of people get in trouble, is they get stuck in those boxes. I mean, they're masters at one thing, but getting out of that box makes you even better. So, like for example, I had some rope horses that I put a bunch of dressage into and just did different things. And I would let somebody else ride them, and they were amazed at how much feel they had into them, and how much confidence and how much control. And that's what it was all about, is you can't have too much feel in a horse. I mean, it's like having too much money. You can't, you just can't do that.
Well, I agree with you, and I love the fact that you embrace all different disciplines and roll it into one, and appreciate horsemanship like that, because there is more to life than team roping.
Well, thanks. And I take a lot of the English horses in training, and that's mostly what I have are English horses, and I'll teach them how to rope. I'll go work cows on them, and I'll rebuild their confidence and rebuild that whole foundation. And there's no doubt when you go back to that specific discipline that they're light years ahead, because they've gotten out of the box, they've gotten out of that office they've been into every day, and they're dull and they're stagnant, and you freshen them up. We've got clients come every now and then just for a refresher. Hey, take this horse for 2 months and go do something different with him, so that when he goes back into the show ring, he's brighter, he's not scared, his work ethic is higher, his confidence is higher, and he's got a lot more control.
I think that's really smart.
Easier to ride.
And probably happier horses for that as well.
Way happier. Yeah, they're way happy, there's no doubt. And that's what it's all about. You gotta have a happy horse. And
otherwise it's no fun at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Kelly, what do you do around the place? What are your jobs taking care of Dan and the business?
Well, I don't ride the crazy horses like he does.
She's selective in what she rides.
She's smart
I do
about
have
it.
sometimes, but I'm very selective. No, I run the office. I do the accounting and do all our advertising and website and deal with the clients.
And are you guys out on the road much, traveling around, or do you do most of your work at home on the place?
We do some traveling. We do some clinics off-site, and we do some performances and stuff with our Mustang Troubadour that I know we're going to talk about.
Yep, we are.
And but yeah, we do some traveling, but most of the time it's clients coming to us and bringing their horses to us and doing lessons and such there.
Okay, and you can house people at your facility. You bring people in; they can stay there
Yeah.
for a clinic.
We
Stuff
do.
like
We
that.
can house several people. I think up to 12 or 14. And we've got a small place in Round Top. And my parents have a place right down the road that has, they have a very large place. And
Okay.
I have an obstacle course in that place. It's quite challenging.
Good.
Most people, when they come to it, man, they're all freaked out at first, but they end up getting over it. So
Building that confidence, that's something we're going to be talking a lot about today.
Yeah.
And something I know that I've learned in the last couple of years working with people is that confidence just shows up everywhere, both in the horse and the rider, and it's got to be there or else.
yeah, in small ways and in large ways. It's up to us to figure it out and work on those weaknesses.
Well, let's look at some photos that you brought along. We can show the viewers, giving them an idea of some of the things that y'all do.
Okay.
So walk us through.
This is our 3 children, Avery, Tanner, and Allie, 8 years old, 18 years old, 19 years old.
They horse people, horse kids.
Avery, my daughter, has more talent than I'll ever have in my right toe, but she doesn't really pursue it. And
Comes by naturally.
Allie's kind of a come and go, and Tanner, he's a master golfer, so
All right.
Yeah, they all can ride
he's
very
gonna
well.
support us one day.
Banking on him.
That's our retirement. This is a clinic I was doing for some youth high school girls a couple of years ago.
And Allie in the pink.
Oh yeah, Allie's got to get in there. I'll take these high school and college girls and just kind of rebuild their whole foundation. They'll bring their horses for a week or two, and we'll just work from kindergarten all the way to the graduation.
Okay.
This is a cow working clinic I did a couple of years ago where we taught everyone how to rope, brand, vaccinate, cut, sort.
Wow.
You name everything it takes to get from a calf out of a cow all the way to slaughter.
That's a good idea.
And we gave them an idea of everything it took to get it there. And we taught them how to mug. This is a gal that rides English horses, and she came, it's obvious.
Yeah, in her helmet. Not a bad
she
idea.
was well protected.
All right.
And this was at a barn I did a clinic for. There was 26 gals and in Houston. And this was a jumping facility, and we rebuilt the whole barn. We built the foundation on the whole barn. Yeah, that was a great time.
Extreme barn makeover, right?
And you can't do too many crazy things. I mean, these gals just have fun doing crazy stuff and getting out of the box and quit doing everything by the book, and just having some fun.
Good.
These are some Friesians that a guy let me drive. That was kind of exciting. I acted like I knew what I was doing. This is a $1 million stud horse that I got in from Oklahoma not long ago that was actually eating and trying to kill people because he breeds so many mares a year.
Yeah.
And anyway, after a few days, we became friends. And wow, he's just a rock star to ride
That's
too.
a great video.
He's
man.
won every derby in the country, I think. Which is a big deal to have a horse like that.
Yeah.
And this is Troubadour, our little Mustang. That's our family horse. He'll never
We'll
go
get to
anywhere.
see more video of him.
Yeah. That was
solid
him.
guy.
I think
He's a rock star.
I think I'd ridden that horse about 15 times right there or less. And he was wild when
cool.
we got him. There's my best little helper, Allie. She was 4. That's pretty much her horse, she thinks. We'll let her think. That's okay.
There he is again.
But
That's
that's
funny.
his favorite place right there, that and that. He loves to jump and he loves to do crazy stuff.
And so do you. So you're one heck of a
They're a
team.
great team.
We like to live life on the edge.
Well, as we saw in some of those pictures, you're a cowboy. It's not often you see somebody wearing a cowboy hat riding in an English saddle. So where did you start bridging that gap between English and Western?
When I guess I was shoeing for about 20 years, and that's when I started hanging out with learning from the English people, just watching what they do. I never did say anything. Actually, all they thought is that I was the blacksmith. I was the guy that showed up in the shorts and tank top and shod their horses. Perfect. That's all I wanted them to know. And then every now and then you get a it was not pretty, but I was comfortable. Right? So every now and then I would get a question about something that was going on with their horse, and just a random question. So I'd give them an idea, and they'd go, "Well, you mean you can fix that?" I said, "Well, sure. It's a piece of cake." So it was like a dare. Then they would have me fix it, and they'd go, "Man, you know more than just horses' feet." And I go, "Well, thank you." So it kind of evolved from that, and then once I realized I was able to help these people, I thought, I better learn how to do this English stuff right. So I started spending time with some world-class jumping horse people, world-class dressage trainers, eventers, and learn from those people that were really good teachers and how I can make myself better to help those clients' horses and help my horses. And then once I got that done, they couldn't talk me into wearing the wardrobe. I can't see it happening, man. My roping buddies are really giving me a hard time, but I'm probably going to have 15 pair when I get home.
Yeah.
And I always want him to show, the horses, like, come show it, Pin Oak, and Dan's like,
Yeah.
not going to do it.
Change your wardrobe, man, and I'll get after it.
So you've kind of created the term Winglish, right, then?
Yeah.
Okay, so explain that to us.
Winglish is learning the English discipline, and me being familiar with the Western discipline, I put the dressage and the jumping into my rope horses and just playing around with it, teaching my horses how to use their different body parts. When I used to rope, I was like every other team roper. We rope. We never really, or I myself never really taught my horses how to use their body correctly like a dressage horse or a good reiner. Once I broke down all the different body parts like the dressage people do, I had a way softer, way more pliable, way more responsive rope horse that enabled me to make better runs and quicker and smoother runs. And then when the English people came, they were lacking what I had from the past, which is Western, man, like run through the woods wide open and do some crazy stuff. That's what we do. They couldn't do that. So I helped those people and those horses do that. And it was mind-boggling how much confidence those horses and those people got after teaching them some of the Western discipline that we've been doing since we were little kids.
Right.
And I had a friend of mine ask me one time, he said, "What do you teach all these people on?" I'm breaking it down for him, and he goes, "Why don't you just have them run through the woods wide open like we did when we were kids?" And I go, for liability reasons, we can't do that anymore.
Right. Sign here
So you have to
first.
kind of have a program for each person, and that's what we have is a program from low, medium to high level people, and we build or rebuild each one's program. Usually start right back down at the bottom.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it usually the basics where you find the holes, those fundamentals that maybe got skipped over, something like that?
Yeah, you'll always find holes, and it's usually at a low level. Mm-hmm. And it's like every day on our horses, we study the low level stuff. I mean, first, second, third grade stuff. We pretty much just drill them. The high level stuff is there. Like the rope horses, I would teach them how to do lead changes, teaches them how to do reining maneuvers, just really kind of mix it all up.
A lot of the horses, they've never been out of the arena. That's all they've ever done. All the English horses.
Yeah,
People
They've led to
never
the
know.
arena, and they
Yeah.
get on, and they do their thing, and then they get off. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I take the big warm bloods and rope on them. Rope the dummy.
Awesome. Yeah.
And the clients show up and they go, "What are you doing to my horse?" And some of them get kind of like upset, and I go, let me just tell you, man, this looks kind of
Just
redneckish,
wait, right?
but you just wait. You let me have him, I'll fix it.
Good. Well, we're going to treat our viewers to some great video after this break, so stick around. We'll be back with more with Dan and Kelly Keene of Keene Horsemanship, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Horse Talk Live. I'm Lizzie Iverson, and my guests today are Kelly and Dan Keene of Dan Keene Horsemanship. They've traveled from Texas to be on our show today, and we're sure glad to have them. We've got done talking a little bit about your combination of Western and English, taking what you know about both disciplines, both styles, bringing them together, make for a better, more well-rounded horse, filling in the gaps. And we got to see you jumping a little bit in some of the photos. Now we're going to get to watch some video of you in action on a good horse, or a couple horses. So show us what we're seeing here, Dan.
This is a 6-year-old horse that I got out of Tulsa, Oklahoma that just really had a lot of problems. He wasn't swapping his leads. He was real scared. He was a real chicken, man. It was like he had feathers coming out of him or something. And anyway, after kind of rebuilding his confidence, you can just pretty much do anything with him you want. Now
So
he's
were
worth
they
more
using
money.
him for jumping before you got him?
They were making attempts.
Okay.
And This is a stud horse that the owners turned down $1 million for that was pretty much just trying to kill humans, kill horses. He was just a man-eater. And putting him through the program, which the first couple of days of his life weren't very happy. But we got him over that, and now he's a happy horse, and he's just
So
really
what do you feel
fun
like
to
his
ride.
problem was?
His problem was he breeds about 50 to 60 mares a year, and he just got out of control, and he needed some leadership.
Okay.
And this is a little reiner that I was riding not long ago, just kind of for fun.
All right. So we see you riding English. Now we're back into the Western.
Yeah, this is me heading right here. I used to do quite a bit of that right there. Actually won a little money, but almost went broke doing it too.
What's that?
Almost went broke doing it too. But
Well, I don't think you're alone on that. I've heard a couple people say that before.
So, we can jump, we can head. Now this is a shot of me heeling. So,
Do you like your horses to be able to rope both ends?
I do. They're going to be better at one or the other.
Sure.
That's naturally like a quarterback or a linebacker, but I think they ought to be able to do both. I think they ought to be able to do dressage and jump too. Pack the kid, pack the grandmother.
Okay.
They ought to be able to do all of it. Now this is some open cutting horses that I had the opportunity to ride, and I actually work with this trainer here on some problem case horses. These trainers that let me ride these horses, they'll get stuck sometime with horses that they're having problems with, whether they're strong in the bridle or running off with them or can't get a shoulder to move, and we'll share some knowledge on how to get those horses kind of lubed up and rebuild their confidence and their maneuverability. And then they help me with some of my balance or some of my technique in the saddle. This is a bridleless cutting horse here that, man, when he told me to take the bridle off that thing, I about wet myself. Are you sure? But yeah, he said, just do what I tell you and you'll be fine.
And I mean, that takes confidence on your part. You got to just
Yeah.
not let that horse know
Well-
that you're a little bit intimidated. But
I was surrounded by big walls, so he wasn't going anywhere. And if he jumps over that, there's water around us, so we're good.
so what do you think? Do you put all of your English horses that come in? Do you put them on cows, show them cows, and work them?
Absolutely. The first thing they did, when they come in, I put them through like a 4-day crash course program. I won't even see them for 4 days. I have a crew that helps them through a lot of their basic foundations. And after about 4 to 5 days, then my hands get on them, and I'll start working on whether, if it's a baby, we'll start riding it. If it's like the stud horse here, that other one, I'll start riding them and find out, where the missing pieces are from their back. And then once I get them confident and going at home, I'll take them down to the ranch where there's all kinds of obstacles and cows. And you'd be surprised how many of those horses that have come out of that English world that have never seen a cow and they think they're dragons, man. They're going to kill them.
Yeah.
So I'll just pin up a bunch of heifers or a bunch of rope steers in the arena and just start tracking them around. Next thing you know, you're swinging a rope, kind of roping some feet off of them and just playing. And then we'll go down to the creek and jump some creeks and just mix it up, So when the clients show up, they go, man, I never thought my horse could do all that stuff.
And they love doing all
And
that. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the reason a lot of those horses come to us is because they're stagnant. They've been stuck in the roping pen or the cutting pen or the dressage pen for so long, they've been beat up with it, and they lose their confidence. They get stiff, and the next thing you know, you're riding a propane tank that, how long's the fuse? When's it
Yeah.
going to go off? And then they start bucking people off, running away. And
So what? We talk about confidence and getting their confidence back. That can't be just as easy as that. What are some steps that you take to? How do you know that you're instilling confidence in a horse? How do you go about doing that?
you can tell by the look in their eye. And usually when they pull up, I can tell how much they have. It's kind of like people. It's the same theory. But the method that we use is I'm going to scare the dickens out of them. I mean, heart attacks are free, man. I'm going to give every one of them a heart attack, but I'm never going to hurt them. I'm try not to. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes they get a ding, but that's just part of the deal. But I'm going to put them through a crash course, and I'm going to try to scare them. But whenever they relax, that's when we start taking things away from them and reward them. If we work with a horse for 5 minutes, you can bet they're going to have pressure taken away from them, 20 times or more.
Because that's ultimately what they're seeking is that release.
That's exactly what they want. I mean, horses want two things in life. They want you to never touch their face with the bridle, and they want to never see us again. Simple as that. That's just the facts, man. They would
It's
rather
sometimes hard to swallow, but
yeah, I know, especially for women.
yeah. Well, you know, that brings up an interesting point, though. I would imagine that a lot of your clientele are women, and we do have a tendency to be oversensitive and also overboard in loving our horses sometimes. So do you see that as a problem a lot? You know,
about
women all the
98%
time?
of them are spoiled.
Yeah.
Yeah, and about 99% of our clients are women. And, you know, I'm thankful for them. And I'm glad I can help them. And, you know, that's women's nature. That's the way they are. And it's my job to help them through that and show them, but that if you are the leader and the teacher, and those horses have to know that you are a teacher. Once you get that established, then you can back off and give them the cookies and the carrots and the blah, blah, blah.
Some of them bring them for training, and they actually have brought carrots and stuff with the horses for training.
Javier loves carrots.
I can't
Here,
blame
here's
them.
your carrots.
When I go to the store, I buy 2 bags of carrots,
Yeah.
one for me and one for the horse.
I
so.
still feed my horses carrots.
Yeah, I know.
And Troubadour and all our horses do.
Well,
And sometimes the
And
clients'
that's y'all's
horses.
job. I have mine, y'all have y'all's.
and earlier you said, you know, that you tell people, like, I'm just going to treat him like a horse. What do you mean by treating a horse like a horse?
That's the way they want to be treated. I mean, just like horses are in the pasture, there's the lead horse and there's the bottom horse. And I think I learned more by watching horses in the pasture and my Mustang Troubadour than I've learned from any one person in the world. You know, you watch the steps that they go through in the pasture. They use 3 methods. They use what I call the ask, the tell, and the make. They always ask first, they tell second, and then they just let it rip. And that's the way I teach horses. And
Okay.
I always start with a light approach. If that doesn't work, you go to medium. If that doesn't work, you go to high. You have to get through to it. Once you get through to them, then you can start backing off and giving them your carrots and foo-foo and stuff like that. But, you know,
fun part.
they're not going to be secure if they don't think they have a teacher.
Okay.
Just like
No,
us.
you're
I mean,
right.
where would we be if we didn't have a strong teacher in life? We'd be wimpy little insecure. broke
Nobodies.
people. Nobodies,
Yeah.
exactly.
So you use your